One of my brothers asked me, he said, what if you're looking back on this moment a few years from now and you're telling the story of this time? How would that story look if it was the best thing that ever happened to you? There's no turning back now. It's time to create everything we've been talking about for years now. The world that we want to see, the way that we want to be in relationship with each other, the culture that we want to create. The time is now. When the infrastructure is crumbling around us, when the economy is plummeting, when everything that we relied on and found comfort in, depended on, is disappearing before our very eyes. Now, I'm the last person who will be an alarmist. In fact, to me, I'm mostly experiencing excitement about the prospect of this great opportunity we have. But the past few days have actually been a little bit turbulent for me. And I'm wondering if I'm not the only one feeling this way. Because up until everything got shut down, up until the pandemic started to really swoop in, make its way into our borders, I didn't think it was real. But when that happened, everything that I was building up to, everything that I had created expectations around, strategized for this year, my work, my family, my future, changed almost overnight. And initially I started to look from the bright side of things, optimistically, experiencing joy and excitement about what possibilities there are now, that I don't have to run out every morning and leave my family every day. And I don't have to grind at the job that I don't want to do anymore. I had excitement and joy around that. But once I started to realize the implications of what time we're in right now, and I started to see the things that I wanted to do, that I really was passionate about, start to disappear off of my calendar, it started to hurt. And I tried to justify it and say that, well, you know what? There's a lot of people who are in a worse position than me right now. At least I have a little bit of money in my bank. At least I have some opportunities to keep me busy and keep me on purpose and focused. At least I have a family that's healthy. At least I have my own health right now. But a couple days ago, that story wore out. I was pissed. I was frustrated. I was angry that the things that I was focused on and building towards were taken. It's like the rug got pulled right out from underneath me. And I needed to be with that. I needed to feel that for a couple of days and feel it through and process it and talk about it with brothers of mine, with my wife, with other people that I trust and love, and just express how frustrated I was about this whole moment in time. The interesting thing is on the other side of that, I've had a lot of really interesting insights come in. And I wonder how many of you guys are out there experiencing the same. Because as much as we can connect over Facebook and social media and phones and FaceTimes and all of that, I wonder how much we're really having this deeper conversation about what's next for us. Because this virus is going to come and go. And what they're telling us is that there will likely be more. Depending on who you're listening to and what you really believe in your heart of hearts, chances are our way of living has significantly changed forever. And I was on a call with my brothers last night, and we were diving into this a little bit deeper, and I was sharing my experience of the past few days of feeling frustrated and angry and just so fed up with the experience of loss. And what was mirrored back to me, a great question that one of my brothers asked me, he said, what if you're looking back on this moment a few years from now and you're telling the story of this time? How would that story look if it was the best thing that ever happened to you? What would that story end up looking like if this was the best thing that could have ever happened for you, for your work, for your passion, for your purpose, for us as a human race? And it made me pause for a second. It made me really think about what this would look like. Because I've had plenty of hardships, just like each and every one of you, I'm sure, where in the moment, I was not able to be grateful for it. In fact, in the moment, I wanted to do everything other than accept it and take it in. But looking back on it, those are the things that molded my character, that made me who I am today, standing before you. So in this moment of frustration, of not knowing what's going to happen, uncertainty, how could this be the best thing that ever happened to me, to us? Well, in my belief, this is the turning point. In this time where the economy, the political structures, the health infrastructure, everything is showing us just how fragile it is. It's time. It's time for us to step forward and to demand what we want, to create what we want to see in this world. Starting from scratch, starting from me, starting from the individual. How do I want to be with myself in relationship with me? that's not dictated by some government regime, that's not dictated by the tax man, that's not dictated by anything other than how I choose to be with myself. How do I want to be in relationship with my family and my close loved ones and relatives? How do I want to be in relationship with my wife, my spouse, my partner, my children, my nieces, nephews, fathers, mothers, sisters, brothers, everyone? How do I want to engage in those relationships? How do we want to create a new culture oriented around the things that we're all talking about? A cleaner environment, a more sustainable energy future for our children, for the next generations. How do we want to create that? How do we want to be in relationship with the natural world? With animals, with plants, with everything that's living and breathing? How do we want to be in relationship with these things? And I reflected on that. And the answer that I had to my friend's question was, I want to look back and say, this is the moment that everything changed. This is the time when we decided that we needed a new culture, that the way of being wasn't going to work anymore. We finally drew a line in the sand and said, there's no going back to what we've done. We tried that. It failed. It didn't work. It got us this far. But from this point forward, we decide to be in better relationship with ourselves, with our families, with the natural world. We learned to calibrate our bodies and our minds and our spirits in rhythm with everything else around us. We learned to be respectful of not just our lives, but the lives of everyone and everything. We taught our young ones how to be in relationship with the earth and the environment from a young age, so that that's all they ever knew. We learned how to guide our young people across a threshold into adulthood, so that by the time that I breathe my last breath, we have a whole generation of initiated men and women on this planet, leading the charge, picking up where we left off. That's my version of the greatest story ever told. That's my version of what this time gets to be. Creating a new culture, a new tradition to pass on to our children, the little ones. That's what it's always been about. This planet, this home, this one place that we have to live is what it's always been about. And there's no time like now to make that difference, to make that change. So how are you going to make that change? How are you going to make that shift right now, today? I'm talking about right now, not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, not after the quarantine is lifted. Right now, how are you going to start living that change? How are you going to initiate that in your own life? For yourself first, then for your family, and then your relationship with the greater world. How are you going to do that? It's the question I'm asking myself. And I'm inviting each one of us to be in that question right now, and then to be in conversation with each other. How are we going to move forward from here? Because the sun will rise another day. This virus will come and go. The shelter at home restrictions will be lifted. And there's going to be a great temptation to go back to the way things were. But we can't, can we? Can we really go back to the way things were? After all this time of talking about how fed up we were with the economy, with the government, with every authoritative structure and system that's been created over the past few centuries, can we really, in good faith, go back to that and believe that that's going to be the best thing we could have done for the future of our race, for the future of this planet, for our children? Got to ask yourself that question. Got to look deep inside and see what's really there. And when you find what that answer is, tell me about it. Tell me in the comments below. Send me a message. Make your own video. Heck, I don't care. We have to do something to make this conversation move forward, and then take our words and move them into actions. So that's what I'm interested in. Are you? Tell me about it. Let me know in the comments. And while you're at it, make sure you guys subscribe to this Rising Man YouTube channel so you get videos each and every week, every time we drop them. Also, go check out all the amazing events and opportunities we have. If you're quarantined up at home still, you want a men's circle, we've got our virtual men's fire circles and so many other opportunities for you to get involved. Go check it out at risingman.org. You heard? Peace, fam. Much love.